Welcome out, gamers and gamers, to this RGL.GG Invite Highlander match, Season 18, Week 4, where we are watching the Hardworking Hornets versus Rib. I am Alto, joined by Zag to my side, Duffin behind the camera, as always. Zag, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Looking forward to this match. We got some Koth Asheville action tonight. My favorite, or at least one of my top two favorite maps in the entire game for Highlander. And got an interesting match here tonight. Hardworking Hornets versus Run It Back. We have a 3-0 team versus a 1-2 team. A lot of playoff implications on the line for this one because despite the, let's say, gap in the current standings where Hardworking Hornets are currently 3-0, not drop the match point, Run It Back kind of in the doldrums. Hardworking Hornets matches have all been sweeps against MST, Fraudulent, and Imposters. I believe those three teams have a combined 12 match points. So it's been a very easy strength of schedule. Though if Hardworking Hornets are able to actually win here tonight and, have a decent gap on rounds, their playoff chances might be very close to locked if they can perform here tonight.
Yeah, and I'm almost coming into this with the assumption that I think we had been maybe thinking of Rib as the 3 seed after last week's match, that with Steady Dudes being 1 and Ohio Leaf Village being 2nd, but the more that I look at it, I think Hardworking Hornets, I'm almost leaning at maybe giving them that 3rd spot. Heard some things about, despite Kaorn's hero performances the past few weeks, Rib has not been doing as hot as one might have liked to have seen. So I think that, we're kind of going through this season, establishing seed by seed, seeing where Hardworking Hornets lie is going to be a good one on the cast, and I'm beginning to think that they may be pretty far up there. Just looking at the rosters.
Yep, with the rosters, we can go and start. Hardworking Hornets is going to be Yate on Scout, Panther on Soldier, Cham on Pyro, Kira on Demo Man, Willie on Heavy, Pickles on Engineer, Ray on Medic, Scouty on Sniper, and Chlor on Spy.
Over on the side of Rib, it will be Birdo Scout, Jerry Soldier, Spring Rolls on Pyro. Oh, Paul on Pyro, we're getting word. Jamond on Demo Man, Chalk on Heavy, Gigi on Engineer, Foxy on Medic, Kaorn on Sniper, and Poseidon on Spy. Or Rib? Or...
Yeah,
okay,
Rib have Ether on Demo instead of Jamond tonight. So that's two combo classes that they've swapped out. Probably not swapped, probably a scheduling issue, but either way, half of your combo being new on Asheville is kind of it's a big deal, but honestly, you'd rather have a different Pyro or Demo Man on a map like this where you can just get carried by flank and pick classes than a Swift Water like last week. So it's not a good situation for Run It Back, but it's workable. If you want to be a playoffs team, you have to do something here tonight. I mentioned that, Hardworking Hornets, they're looking at this as their chance to kind of put themselves in the head of the race for securing playoffs. If you Run It Back here, dropping any more unnecessary rounds is going to very much hurt your chances. You need to perform. You need to start getting these rounds on the board. You need to climb up those standings because before you know it, you're going to run out of chances.
yeah, if they manage to lose here, I mean, you can say, all right, if they lose here, Dudes could be 1 seed, and then Ohio Leaf and Hardworking Hornets could be 2-3. That does leave a spot for them, but you need to hope that, those 3 teams are the 3 teams above you. And even then, they're not in the greatest of spots, having dropped a half to Froggyland, who would ostensibly be below them, and not, depending on how they do tonight, they didn't take a half off of Dudes or Leaf Village. So match point wise, they're not in a great spot, so they really need to come out with a strong showing tonight. I mean, anything less than a 4-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything less than a 4-1, and you need, if they lose more than 1 round tonight, I think we begin to look at them from a team that we had thought may have been, playoff assumptions, and then start to look at them as more of an outside shot.
Yeah, because if we look at the standings overall, Hardworking Hornets and Somebody Help have 27 on the board. And even if the strength of schedule is easy, not dropping the rounds in the matches you should be winning is crucial to making playoffs. We see it every season. We have the Duddy Dudes 3-0. They're definitely in playoffs. They just had that 1 round drop to Ohio Leaf, and Ohio Leaf is beneath them 2-1. They got match points in their Duddy Dudes match. That's something that not many teams are probably going to get this season. So it is looking very dire if you are Run It Back here and you don't at least 4-1, if not 4-0.
And I mean, definitely some sympathy for Rib, because, I mean, depends. Some teams come out of the gate really strong. Some teams, ramp up over the course of the season. They have had Froggy, Dudes, Leaf, Hardworking Hornets, all back to back to back, which is, out of the 10 teams in invite season, you got to figure that those 4 are all in the top 5 Froggy maybe a 6. Hard to tell, until we see more matches. But not a single one of the easier matches they're going to get. The back half of their schedule is going to have somebody help in week 6, and really that's about it as far as their expected challenging matches go. But it all depends on how your schedule is. They got all the strong teams early in the season. That could be an advantage for some teams, maybe capitalizing on some of the other teams, but RIM has not looked to take advantage of that. So tonight's the night they really need to nut up or shut up, as it were.
Yep, and while predictions are going, go and talk about a couple of players who do need to be stepping up for RIB if they do want to keep their playoff chances in good standing. First off, Kaorn. Kaorn has been the hero of the season in terms of like most improved player. I'd even call him a most valuable player. And that of all the players we've seen play on cast so far, Kaorn is consistently outperforming his circumstances. It's giving me Fallen Lord vibes, where Fallen Lord, back before he got on the invite winning teams, where he was just carrying every season, but his teams could never get it through. That's the vibes I'm getting from Kaorn right now. When Asheville's a map, of course, Sniper can do work. If Kaorn can keep performing as expected from the past 2 times we've seen them, then it should be a massive boon for Run It Back to try and get these points.
Yeah, definitely. They get really, again, hero performances. Pretty much the best player in the server both of the past 2 weeks, and that's hard to say when you're going up against Lenny on
and
product.
Your team is losing.
But, really, really good performances. And as you said, right, with some of the mains on RIB not being here, at least Asheville's a map where your combo doesn't need to be the stars here. You can have strong flank performances. You can have strong pick class performances. If anyone's able to keep up that same level of performance, and as we kind of touched on last week, if Poseidon's able to have a bit of a bounce back performance, last week on Swiftwater not likely being his finest moment, then I think that RIB still has a lot going for them here, and that Hardworking Hornets, who I may be even looking at favorites in this match right now coming into it, not by a large margin, but by a little, I don't think they have, unless Scouty really manages to go on a heater, I don't think they're going to completely steamroll a team here. Well, especially one that could have a sniper as hot as Kaorn on their team. But if Kaorn's not showing up, the combo's not in a good spot, Berto and Jerry aren't taking control of the game, then I could see this going 4-0 in favor of Hornets pretty quickly.
Yeah, another player I'm looking at on Hornets is Kira. Kira been rising in the demo man rankings over the past few seasons of Invite. Probably definitively a playoffs demo, has made playoffs multiple seasons in a row, I think now. On the other side, we have Ether subbing in. Obviously, Ether, fantastic player. I don't know if he's ever played an Invite Highlander Demo Man match, but he definitely can play the class, right? So I don't think like him subbing in is going to be too big of an issue for Run It Back. If they lose, it's not going to be because Ether's getting out-DM'd by Kira, right? So there is that. Also on Hardworking Hornets, I want to kind of just bring up, I don't think I've ever seen Cham or Chlor before. I don't know who those players are, like what division they came from recently, if they're on their main classes.
I was actually just looking that up. Cham is a name I've started to hear recently. Cham was an invite on Real Friends last season, who went 1-6, previously having won Advanced 2 seasons ago. So definitely a bit of a move up. I mean, I'm taking a look, pretty impressive lineup. Went 4-3, or I guess maybe a little bit better, it's hard to tell. 4-3 in Newcomer in Season 14. Then next season jumped up to Main, went 4-3 in Main. Next season won Advanced, and then had 1 season in Low Invite, and is now on really an Invite team competing for playoffs, so definitely an up-and-comer in Cham. Meanwhile, Chlor, I think we've been just managing to dodge them the past couple cast seasons, as they spent, they were on RR in season 16, 14, and 13. Definitely mained on at least one, if not all of those seasons. So I think we may have just missed them, or you may not have been in the week that we casted them that season. So Chlor, name I've heard for a while. I've heard good things about. Again, I think first time on the cast potentially. Maybe a second and we're forgetting, but another name I think that I've heard good things about. So it should be good to see them. tonight.
As Ready Up is through, going to be getting this Asheville match started. Run it back on blue side. Hardworking Hornets on red. We'll see if he can get advantages on these mid fights. Both demos getting their same time. Kira getting some damage onto Ether. Ether trying to get his bearings here just a little bit. Will take a ton of damage. Ether going to burn out. He is going to get an arrow, but so much damage coming through. Ray's dead to a crit flare, and Yates dead as well to a snipe. Tons of kills being exchanged across the point. This is an explosive mid, but more frags going in favor of Run It Back. It's just Scouty left up, and that's Rib winning the first mid.
Yeah, I mean, Paul coming in place of spring rolls and just double flare gunning Ray off the bat. That's not a play I had on my bingo sheet, but Rib is going to be happy for that, as that is a easy mid fight for them as well as a med pick. So they're going to be sitting on full ad coming into this first defense right off the bat. So good start for Run It Back.
Yep, Hardworking Hornets going to try and... Looks like they want to go for some dry pressure, maybe buffing up some players. They do have that 60% Uber disad against them, so going to see if they can just take the space here, trying to clear out ramp. Poseidon is in safely behind. Going to decide he doesn't like, being near that heavy revving his minigun. Meantime, here comes a bit of a bad swap from the spam classes. Nothing really going. Poseidon, 9 HP, will live for now. Here comes a solar bomb, a bit delayed. Will not really find anything. Gonna get Reflect rocketed by Paul. Paul doing a fantastic job so far in this game, but K1 gets balled, actually. So that's a huge entry right now for the side of Hardworking Hornets with their fast response.
It's hard to call it much of an entry when you still have the Uber on the side of Foxy and they lost some players. Really kind of ballsy move by Foxy there. As
they can go, yeah.
Scouty takes it twice from Shutter. Yeah, Uber is now popped off of Bats. Going to use on Chalk, who is just in the middle of everything here. Walking in towards Shutter right by Secret. Ubers are just going to be cycling there. Birdo getting a little aggressive. Going to find Scouty. Likely going to go down for it, but that's going to buy the team so much space in the meantime. Chalk under Bats. Crouching Tiger hitting Plutus. Finds Pickles, gonna find more damage in on the team. A couple members going down on Rib, but far more on the side of Pickles.
The Andy headshot on the ramp just caught that pick at the very end, salvaged that play a bit, but it should be said that that's still a fight win for Run It Back.
Right as he went down.
Yeah, doing great work right now is Clore that Andy. Unfortunately for Hardworking Hornets, they still don't have any cap time, and they will at least have Uber ad for the first time in the match, but will now just be getting up to this point, going to try and get that cap across and start their time ticking, but it is a big hole they find themselves in.
Yep, as just the longer spawns and those late deaths. Ray hurt on Ray after in, cannot find the damage. Ray going to be sitting just fine on ramp. You said no cap time, but those deaths from Paul and Foxy were so late that it was very easy for them to get all their spawners come back in as Hornets were still regrouping, or Rib, excuse me, was still regrouping. Hornets now on the point, taking control, but 2 minutes off the clock for Rib. Not a bad start for them, and they're just going to be looking to repush now.
Yeah, likely going to try and just take some space, force these players off, try and get this Uber out of Ray. Looks like Run It Back not going to take too many risks, or Hornets not going to take too many risks, rather just going to back off that Shutter as Run It Back going to retake their space for now. Still 60% at the dis side. They're going to sack again, but the medic is already long gone. In the meantime, though, KO does open things up with the snipe onto Kira. Sackers will not get too much else, but that Demo Man being down does buy you some space. Chalk and Blanket going to sneak out here and start doing some work, but Chalk gets shut down by Scouty.
Poseidon coming in a little off timing.
Poseidon
it feels
has done a one-man, like a 1v7 decloak 2 lives in a row. I don't mean to like rag on it. Last week I was so disappointed in Poseidon with that performance on Swiftwater. Poseidon, please go with your team. If you're not on time with your team, just live. That's 2 lives in a row. You've died 1v7. I'm talking like you can hear me, but it is frustrating to see.
Oh, Panther just sitting right outside the shutter here, waiting for someone to go in. Gonna back up, doesn't see anyone coming, gonna move back to ramp, make sure that there's some coverage there. And I mean, they've milked a lot of time off this already, but Foxy does have Uber. They're dropping off with Bats, gonna pop out onto Ether, walking forward. Exchange in progress right now. A couple flashes onto Birdo, so better Uber for Red. Paul gonna get taken out on Bats by Yate, only frag of the exchange, and really no ground at all found. They're gonna trade out soldiers in the post fight, but Chalk going down as well. Going to be even more frags in favor of the Hornets right now. The hold's going to continue. They're looking to tie this timer up.
Yeah.
Or just spawn camp Paul?
Yeah, and you got Blanket too. Clore's doing so much work in this match. I'm going to press tab. Yeah, Clore top
Heard that you were like, who is this? And it's like, alright, I'm showing up.
I mean, now I know. Just haven't seen them before, but they're doing so well in this first round as time just ticks into Hornets' favor. They've held for 2 minutes straight. This has been a phenomenal recovery from them, and now they are at a 10% disad, but it should be enough to get this Uber. They're now favored to win the round.
Yeah, definitely here. Again, strong performance off the mid by Rib, but just been unable. They had a med field gifted to them by Paul hitting 2 flares on a med over mid, and after that, it felt like they really just haven't had any steam. All the time came as a result of that one mid. Scouty as well, going to take out Paul again. Uber again coming in from boxes. Bird a little bit more prominent this time. Forces onto Cham and Yate. Blanketing Kaorn going to melt in Shutter. And with Kaorn dead, even if Ether finds Yate, it's going to be hard for them to make too much space. Scouty has been doing a solid job on point so far. And they're trying to just angle ways in here, but nothing's coming across. Paul will find Floor, but Spy's not the class that you need to be killing to push off of.
Yeah, I mean, they will have at least even numbers with fast response. Mini Sentry going to run out of Wrangler shots. That one has to get rebuilt or fixed. In the meantime, the spawn advantage will be enough to get back onto the point for Run It Back. It's already gone to overtime. That was a full 3-minute hold. Here comes a last-minute sack. Try and get some kills here, but not going to do much. Kaorn shuts down Gate on his jump in, but that will be the first recapture coming in for Run It Back. 1 minute left on their time. Overtime for Hardworking Hornets. They just need one cap left, and Ray lived that fight, so Uber is going to be up for both sides.
Yeah, who's top scoring for Rib right now?
Pickle. Oh no, Kaorn. Yeah, Kaorn. Other team.
Yeah, funny.
I saw Ray at the top with the RIB tag. I'm like, oh, Rib Ray.
No, I noticed that Scouty, I thought of it doing better, but Scouty just hadn't been dying, which is key to that hold. Kaorn's been getting killed. It's not enough as the Uber now comes off of bats. Exchange Chalk once again in the middle of everything on these boxes here. Nothing able to push him off. Hero doesn't even bother dropping down off of bats. They're going to try to let Scouty grab some shots in Shutter, but he doesn't find anything.
In here and behind,
yeah.
In with the stabs, gets the medic! Can't get the demo, but still no heals on the side of Run It Back. Hornets going to swarm the point like the Hornets they are, and they're getting all the kills. Tons of cleanup coming through. No one left to defend this one. It's just the Scout and Heavy. They're going to go down. There's round one going in favor of the Hornets after losing 2 minutes off the bat.
Yeah, really good comeback performance right there. And I mean, you saw what happens when your team's playing together, right? We saw the same Uber come out of Rib and Hornets, but when Rib dropped off his bat, they didn't have any pressure. Their spy wasn't going in with them. They walked up on point, got the force, were forced to run back. Hornets did it. They managed to maintain space, and then their spy syncs up and gets a med kill.
Yep, early bomb over the top here from the Soldier. 2 rockets onto Kaorn. The most impactful player, not going to have a chance to do anything on mid. They will lose 2 in return, though. But that said, that sniper advantage ringing true. Scouty headshot onto Paul. Jerry in behind, but just gets reflected by the Pyro. Can't get anything done. Here's Poseidon in the back, having some impact, taking out Scouty. And with the collapse coming in, it is enough frags for Run It Back to hold the point. Again, it looks like another mid-fight win for them.
Yeah, and now Chalk and Ether actually both jumping over Kaorn. Kaorn already getting domed by, that's Panther, on Soldier for Hornets right now. And I mean, when, ironically, we were concerned about the Rib combo, Ether and Chalk are doing fine right now. Paul, I feel like, may have been maybe dying a little bit too often to some of the hit scan classes, but overall the combo's doing fine. As the Uber comes out, though, Chalk gets this Uber, and they really don't have an answer for the heavy Uber on the box right now.
Yeah, Willie's submarining. He gets the kill onto Poseidon, but will get cleaned up by the Soldier, so it's a 1-for-1 just now. Core will get taken down, as will Panther. Kaorn locked back in with these headshots. Big numbers advantage for Run It Back here as they're looking to defend this point. Scouty
Here got headshot too. Kaorn really just, playing turret right now. Wrangled Mini on ramp from Pickle is going to be doing putting a lot of pressure on the defense, but not enough right there. And again, just Chalk in these Ubers is so big right now. They're playing around. They know he's a win con. They're playing around him, coming up from lower, almost gets floor. VR gonna get popped, but Kaorn finds Willie peeking Shutter. Chalk in lower, gonna get the pack, will stay alive for the time being. No! Yates behind, takes out the heavy. Poseidon dead as well. That is numbers for Hornets. They smell blood in the water.
Yep, Clore actually gets the cleanup on Taberto in the back line. Means this Tally is going to get sapped, and Cap coming in for Hornets here. Full Uber charge. They didn't have to use to get that one down. Enough frags went in their favor. Now will be first cap of the round for Hornets. Only a minute 20 deficit this time, so already 40 seconds faster on the pace. So we'll see if Run It Back can make a repush work. It took them, the entire 3 minutes last time to get a single cap back. So hopefully they can get something working out. They have this Uber off the bat. We'll see. They want to immediately jump on a Shutter. Ether's in the other team, and he's just dead.
He just teleported into the enemy team's Shutter on that Uber. I mean, it will get the force out of Ray, so not the worst case scenario, but doesn't give them a whole lot of ground to walk back in here. They are going to find Yane and Kaorn onto Ray, peeking a little bit too much off of ramp. Poseidon now coming in, finds Scouty, and hear some noise from the Rib Spy, and that will be a successful repush. Look what happens, Zag, when your Spy's going in with the rest of the team. He listened.
Yeah, Tons of work
You got
being
that
done on the
Fred. You got those Fred.
Those are mine.
Yours.
Yeah, tons of work by Poseidon on that cleanup. Made the fight super easy once that snipe came through from Kaorn. Once again, finding these openings. Up to 30 points on right now is Kaorn. So, and Scouty's bottoming on the other side, only 14. So much work being done by Kaorn here. Run it back, gonna get this point back, and actually maintain their time lead, as well as 50% Uber ads. So, you know, they made it work this time. They're not bleeding out time like they were in last round, and now in the driver's seat.
Ether's thinking, okay, do I need to get catapulted into the enemy shutter to win over exchanges now? Is that what's missing? Sack comes in, good air blast, gonna delay. They're just gonna reroute Kira as Foxy taking some damage, but not too much. There's a sandwich. They're not gonna see it.
It
timed out.
It despawned. It doesn't matter. Fox didn't need the sandwich anyway. But with that said, Ray up on 75% Uber, so will be a full push from the Hardworking Hornets here. But I like the spread that Run It Back is using. They have Jerry playing aggressively on Fan, just being a bit of a nuisance here. Poseidon calling out the ramp players. I heard an Ambi headshot ring out, so things are getting a bit dangerous here as
yeah, close up that, though, so it was probably for 30 damage.
Yep. In the meantime, though, real headshots being threatened. Kaorn gonna swing onto here. Scotty wants it, but Uber gonna come through the shutter. In the meantime, Flash is going down onto all the frontliners. No damage even being done in that Uber at all.
Chalk's in secret. So is Paul. Oh, Gate, jump scare, gonna go down, but Chalk almost dead. He's forced to walk in. They will trade. That said, Poseidon finds Willie under bats. Way more frags for the side of Rib right now. Yeah. I mean, I think you need to... If you're Hornets right now, you need to find some answer to these defensive Chalk Ubers. Maybe it's bringing in a Pyro. Maybe it's having more ramp pressure, you know, having a sniper position there already. As time's going to run out, Rip are likely to take this match. And I mean, you know, as impressive as the round last time was from Hornets, Seg, when you think about it, there were only 3 caps that round, and both of Hornets were predicated on Chlor getting kills.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, right, Kaorn has been doing a very similar thing for Run It Back, but the issue is that Kaorn's doing it all the time. He's 31 points. The same openings are just not happening for Hornets here. They need to find a way to open up plays other than just, you know, being an overwhelming force from early aggression. So we'll see if they can do that this time. They haven't won a mid-fight yet. Ether and Kaorn are going to die immediately, though, and all the flags in favor of Hornets. They will lose
if Foxy lives here, that would be incredible. Actually, on Birdo, good chance that they do. But yeah, as you say that, you know, no mids from Hornets. Everyone on Rib just combusts.
Jerry's getting hunted.
Instantly.
Great play by Yate here to find this soldier, get him out of there. And yeah, easy mid. Really easy mid for Hardworking Hornets. They're going to get that one on the board. Foxy backed up pretty quickly once they realized that one was lost, though. So, oh, there's Scouty on the crate angle. Just takes down that medic as they crest the top of the stairs. You got to be aware of that potential angle. And that one's just going to fully go the Uber in favor of Hornets.
Foxy got lazy, didn't do the jump around the barrels to maintain safety, and
yeah,
that's that. And look how far back everyone on Hornets are right now. And at this point, this is where you need your spy to say, don't bother sacking, you're not going to find anything. Here's where instead of sacking, you just 7-man drive.
They're not playing fullback. Poseidon is in the back line, he helps get
Look at you! 10 isolated Foxy in secret just drops down. Just, you know, exists in the depths of their own mind. Finds the little brief window when they're all dropping down where Foxy's unprotected, finds a free med kill right there. Gonna be a free Uber out of the side of Ray, and they're gonna keep holding on to this.
Yeah, the unexpected Pyro, the deadliest there. Cham's gonna find that impact, and now there's really nothing going for Run It Back here. They will find Pickles, so no mini sentry gonna be denying them here. Sniper, Kaorn peeking out of shutter, gonna look to find an entry again, and he does onto Willie. That's the big defensive heavy down. Here comes the soldier, one rocket, surf onto the barrel, and Ray can't get in the shutter. There's Trot getting the cleanup kill, and counter medic frag in favor of Rib.
But Scouty finds Foxy again. It has been death after death for Foxy here, but you know, Rib are still gonna manage to get this point up. Foxy on a 2-second spawn, don't want to delay the medic. Ooh. They delayed!
Foxy!
They delayed! Oh, Jerry,
the days of delaying the medic.
Jerry was just not thinking there. Came in, saw some juicy cap points.
Ray gets advantage off that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may not be big enough to push off of in the end, but who knows, if they end up building a lot faster because they're trying to poke in and do more healing, might be the case. Here comes a soldier over the top. Panther all alone will just get shredded by everyone looking at him. Spy gonna Deadringer across, Chloe looking to find something in that shutter, but here's Panther, Jerry coming in onto Willie dead. Pickles dead as well as Kaorn finds another headshot. Kira barely gonna get back to the bats in time to live, but overall, Rib just holding strong here.
Jerry coming in though, finds Ray and Kira in right on top of that, still alive, getting more rockets off, a lot of damage right there. Paul's gonna pick up 2. mainly off of Jerry's damage, I think, if that. Birdo going to come in and clean up Scouty. So Rib's defense has been really solid. And the thing that made them miss out, lose those two holds in the first half, Chlor, has been kept off the scoreboard in a pretty meaningful way, I feel like. Really have not said their name in quite some time after that loud first round, and there's still no answer to Chalk playing forward.
Yeah, no answer to Kaorn either. Up to 40 points, still top of the high sides medics, and there's Kaorn again,
41.
taking down that demo man. So not much that can be done. It's a solo sack again from Panther, and he's just dead. He can't do anything. Jerry just goes in and kills Scouty too while he's at it, and so many frags coming out of Jerry and Kaorn. They're just doing so much work this round.
Yeah, given these Chalk Ubers, I need to see Scouty with some action on ramp right now.
Yeah.
Chalk just sits on boxes, gets Ubered, there's no pyro involved. There's no ramp pressure, there's no air blast. You will not win that, and they haven't beaten it yet. Kaorn just gonna get a brutal kill onto Scouty through the crack, through the shutter into lobby. And I think Chalk opened that one up for him. But just being kept from anything right here. There needs to be more ramp pressure. They're getting it right now.
So low.
But no
Jerry
snipers involved.
Yeah, Uber forced out a shutter.
But Scouty gets the drop!
Scouty gets the drop. That's Scouty's third medic pick of the round, and it might just be enough to get Hornets back in time control. Paul's flanking behind of all classes, trying to look for something, but not going to be able to. Yate will not be able to kill Kaorn, but it should be the cap in for Hornets here. 45-second time to sad, but with medic charging for a while, they're going to have Uber ad. They're going to have a chance to flip the round in their favor.
Paul's still on bats. Going to be a bit of a disconnected death here. Trying to get out. Yeah, not going to be able to win the 1v1 against Panther right there. And oh, that was... Chalk got such a juicy force in the middle of the enemy team's combo in Shutter. And if Foxy just had gotten that Uber off, the round's probably already in their favor right there. But Scouty, again, third med kill of the round. Bottom scoring on his team, but definitely not bottoming out in impact.
Oh.
But Kaorn's going to find Hero. Scouty opens on the blanket, but that's a better trade. Kaorn just takes Scouty too. Not willing to lose any more rounds. Kaorn dragging the rest of Riv behind them right now, as they are going to end up capping this.
Hornets have Uber. They should try to contest this and get the collapse onto Foxy. Foxy playing out of the barrels, and they know it's coming. Great back out timing from Run It Back. It's just Panther in behind, gonna be all alone. Seen by enemy soldier, gets that kill, pretty flashy, but will go down in the end. And now 100% Uber for Foxy and co.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed, was to get that force out. Foxy staying alive, just needs to actually make sure this Uber
Scouty drop
gets off.
It has to be, right?
Look how far back they are. At this point, you can just either take an Uber in and you're
get some revenge onto Kaorn there with the stick trap. And Foxy still has this Uber, right? They're trying to still out time. Remember, they're just going to play for overtime if you are Hardworking Hornets here. Playing very far back, they get the Uber force, and it's going to be overtime. So this is exactly what Hornets want, actually.
Yep, Panther now coming in right as the Uber fades. Paul gonna hairblast the soldier, maybe it's not the Rockets, and Scouty winning SPS out of Kaorn. The dominoes are falling for Rip right now.
Willie's doing so much work, comes in from underneath, kills Paul, and does so much distraction work. Does a lot of damage, but will go down in the end. Cap's still not going through, but it is already overtime, so not much being lost for Run It Back at this point. They're just gonna need to hold for 45 more seconds, but Ray has Uber. They can take this in whenever they want, the Hornets.
Yep, Uber's gonna cap will go over, as do the spawn timers right now, so that's gonna be a big thing to watch. Foxy sitting on 65, now
Foxy
70. Ray needs to go fast here. Yeah, because
25% left on the charge.
Too much of a delay right now, already up to 85. Super's basically as good as guaranteed, but Scouty finds Foxy number 4.
That throws well. Last second bombs coming in from Rib, but not going to be enough. They're all going to go down. Or is it? They're getting kills. Blanket coming in. The
so much damage.
Blanket gets the shotgun kill on the medic, but Scouty shuts him down with the melee. It's just a 3v3 right now. Spy, Sniper, NG. These are not the Highlander classes you're looking at, but here's the Scout. Oh, that's a great arrow. And gets 2. Foxy with the arrow is going to save the round.
Poseidon coming with the sap on that mini so big. It's not over yet, though. New challengers coming in from Shutter. There's 5-on-1 on Burner right now.
Fast response for Hornets. They don't have the point. They're spawning way faster. Here comes Jerry, but he's dead. It's just the heavy truck gets cleaned up, and this round came so close, but Rib not able to keep it running. Kaorn symbolically the last man going down, and there it is, a 2-1 lead for Hornets at the half, and this one's hot already.
Gonna be honest, Zach, if I was Kaorn, I don't know if I'd have the strength in me to keep playing this one out.
He has 50 points in 2 rounds. Or 3 rounds, rather. Yeah, but Kaorn is doing so much work again. That round was so chaotic. Okay, Scouty is currently 33 points. He's bottom of his team, bottom of the entire server minus Birdo, the scout for Run It Back. but 4 med kills in that round. You can't even say anything about Scouty's performance there because he found every kill they needed to actually bring it back. So, I mean, it's about the quality, right? Quantity's a lot when your sniper can get 85 kills on product, but 4 medic kills with 1 drop and 1 near drop, that's just gonna win you the round.
And I mean, I don't mean to take anything away from Scouty here, but from Foxy's perspective, that's unacceptable. That is like...
Yeah, the jump around the barrel has to be done if you don't know where the sniper is.
Yeah. Scouty is not being given space to thrive in these rounds. That was one of the most stolen rounds I've ever seen. Like, it felt like Rib was consistently outplaying almost every single counterpart on the Hornets side, with the exception of Foxy, where, yes, it's inevitable on Asheville. Sometimes their sniper's just going to fly peek shutter and find your med. It cannot happen 4 times in a round. You have to be better than that. You have to be safer. And if you don't have calls, it means you can't stay in shutter with the shutter open and just let Scouty go for fly peeks on you like that. It happened in the first round. There was a point where Foxy had Uber, was sitting on point. Scouty just ran into shutter, peeked it 3 times, didn't get the kill, and I'm like, uh-oh, that was not, clean. And I think it's just kept up because really you cannot single-handedly lose a round off of your med getting sniped 4 times with almost no pressure from anyone else. That was a really a performance Foxy, I hope, can move past and forget, because that was not... As a med player, I am like, my skin's crawling right now.
Yeah, and shout out on these logs to Yate and Panther have been having really solid games. They haven't been like super standout, but Yate's getting his cleanup, Panther's getting his damage and his frags. They are doing a lot of work. We mentioned at the top of the show that Astral's a map where your flank classes can put in a lot of work, and they very clearly are. Dude, Karen just 23 points, nearly 500 DP, or 23 kills, nearly 500 DPM. It's so much work going, and Scouty no slouch, 15 kills, right? 4 of those being med kills in the deciding round of the first half. It's just the impact that you're able to find for Hornets has been enough in the end to get them across, but this half could have gone either way. I do agree that round was stolen in a lot of ways, where you cannot have your medic die 4 times, once with a drop, I think 2 times with Uber ad, right? To just flip things completely against you in a round where you should be winning. And for Run It Back, it just feels really bad. You feel like that round was in your court, and at this point you've already lost 2 rounds. That was more than you really wanted to give up here tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, Chalk was such a big performance. They did such a good job adapting to not letting Chlor just break open their defenses. And then they find another way to kind of throw that one out. And I really was kind of mentally, I think, rooting for Rib, if only because I want to see Kaorn succeed from some of these performances. And that is such a... We've said a couple times in the past, Zach, that good teams find ways to adapt and win rounds, right? Rib is looking like a team to me that is finding ways to lose rounds.
Yeah.
And that's not a good sign. That is what we saw from Squirtye last season, I think, in the beginning of the season. A time where the team was not running on all of their best cylinders, and despite maybe having the advantages in roster in terms of pure strength, was less than the sum of its parts, finding ways to lose rounds. And Kaorn, I mean, that's a rough one, buddy.
Yeah, and if you are Rib, right, and you don't get this win on the board tonight, let's say you drop 1 round, if not 2 more, right, and your match points are looking not hot, what do you even do for the rest of the season? You need to win out without dropping a round, and you need help as well, if you want playoffs.
No. If they win out, they make playoffs, because they beat Froggyland, so presuming that they win out, they'll beat Help, they should be okay.
Well, let's say they win this 4-3, right? That's what, a plus... How many? Plus 6? For them? Or is it a plus 5 for them, right?
4-3 would be plus 6 for them.
Yeah, and they've already dropped 3, so that's 2... In their 2 wins, they get 12 points. With 4 matches left, if they win out, they get 40 total. That may be enough. Depends. As we are into the second half here, same team colors going to be going through. As looks like... Oh, it's dead already.
All right,
Kaorn
still in it.
Shot.
Yeah, but frags, all very much in favor of Hornets, even with their met down. Because losing your med early doesn't necessarily mean you have the gap in combat performance in the short term. That said, though, the heals are going to matter here. Foxy keeping The 3 players, nope, not going to matter. Never mind, Scouty takes out Paul, and with it just being Foxy and Berto, they're going to try to stick in here. Jerry making some chaos as... Berto getting some good damage. Yeah, onto Willie there.
Can't peek out, he'll just die to the scattergun, and all that space being held by Berto is going to help the spawners get back in time to run it back. They have their sniper out on the field. Panther unavailable to find anything on that roof sack, and there's K-Horn once again finding even more kills. Willie left alone on the point dead, but there's Scouty, a dropout to Foxy, 5 med kills in the last round.
Wrap it up, wrap it up. Oh,
Scouty
how do you let that happen, man?
He has a magnet onto Foxy right now.
Do you let that happen?
Oh, what a reflector onto Jerry. Jerry got destroyed. Sack not going that well for run it back here, as they will lose the extended mid, they will lose their medic, and they will lose everything.
It's hard because a lot of the times when, like, you see meds die, it's not always immediately their fault, right?
Jump
if someone
barrel.
was calling,
Jump
play in,
Foxy.
nope, not gonna jump, no.
Okay, it's fine.
If someone's
Scouty's
calling, like, play up on me, and then that person calls you're meant to play in a sight line, not really the med's fault. So, maybe that's what's happening. Foxy's being called to play in unsafe spots, in which case, they are a much stronger person than I am, being able to listen to those calls over and over again, despite what's happened the past few rounds.
Still do it.
Or they're just peeking too much, and they're not respecting the sight line enough. It's...
Oh, Scouty, get on a bit of a tear here, taking down Blanket and winning SVS against K-Horn. That kind of shutdown is exactly what Hardworking Hornets need if they want to make this match a quick one from here on out. Remember, a 4-1 for them is amazing. That's so many match points when they're already at 27. If they can get that, that'd be huge. Poseidon, once again, just going in alone. He's dead.
Yep, and that said, Foxy will come up on Uber right now, though. Scouty also going to open up onto K-Horn here. So winning the SVS right there. Best player for Rip really off the board right now. Uber's going to be exchanged out. Kira actually just running into ramp to get damage
really
onto the un-Ubered players. Berto blocked
them! What a smart play by Berto! He blocked Kira in, and Yate died as well. They will lose their flank in return for that one, but it's so many important classes dead on the side of Hornets that run it back, just get a free walk-up. That is such a smart play coming out of Berto.
Berto was un-Ubered too. I thought they were blocking him, but no, they're trapped in there with him.
That was so great. Willie gonna get cleaned up from under, and there's first cap of the round for Rib. They're not out of this one yet, as they're gonna have an Uber ad and K-Horn posted up.
Alright, we've been here before. We know this defense works. We know Hornets really still have not yet found the answer to Chuck on the boxes here. All of these caps they've gotten have come from the pick classes, opening up doors for them, and either Rib's going to adapt and win the round, or they're not, and something terrible is about to happen to Foxy yet again. But Chalk sitting pretty in Shutter. They're going to find a bunch of kills on the players walking up right now, and it looks like things are going in Rib's favor for now. Chalk, in secret, at about 180 health, going to eat up safe, smart sandwich right there. In position for when they drop down. Things are looking good for Rib, but they are still at a time to set.
Yep, Jerry gonna get taken down. That is a 20-second spawn timer for the Rib Soldier. In the meantime, 100% Uber for both teams. Chlor's getting hunted by Berto right now, so Berto's not actually in the front line. Deadring will keep us safe for now, but here comes the Uber out of the Shutter. Chalk just taking it and stuffing them in that Shutter. The Chalk Uber does so much work all the time. They didn't even get moved, and Gage is gonna get piped by Ether on the back out. The ramp rotate is not the rotate you want. Chalk is there too, shuts down Panther.
And what do we say? Chlor finds Foxy in the middle of the
Uber is dead. Berto just
okay,
jumps off.
Berto equalizing out. I mean, I'm disgruntled right now, Zach.
The defense is so good from run it back there. Hardworking Hornets really just have not found the answer to Chalk standing in their faces. Like, the medic kill from Chlor, it's the first time we've called their name in a while, right? It's decent, but it's not enough. They don't get enough frags, and their medic dying on the counter just completely wipes that advantage off the board. Scouty finds entry into Jerry. It's a bit to work with here. Berto 1v1ing onto Panther. Both will get out for now, but already walked out of Shutter is the combo for Hornets. They're trying to walk up, trying to do some damage. It's going to be Scouty getting that shot into Blanket, and Panther finding 2 cleanups should be enough for the recap.
And Foxy safely making it out of the spawn. I mean, if I'm Hornets, you need... you know, you said the ramp rotate isn't the answer. The ramp rotate in post is not the answer when the heavy's already there, right? Then the move is they need the ramp pressure beforehand to force Chalk off of the box before the Uber comes through. And Kira!
Oh my god!
What the nuke?
He just nuked them with pipes and stickies over the top. It gets Ether, Foxy, and Bertle with Foxy
That had to have been
dying.
a trap. That had to have been a
Yeah,
trap,
it was,
I think.
it was a trap, right? He was spamming pipes while the trap was going. I'm pretty sure one hit and just killed everybody with the sticky bombs. And with that, there's just no Uber at all. Full advantage for Hornets. They get the time lead as well. And too many classes died to launch a sack. So it'd have to be a delayed sack right now. But with 30 seconds left, do you even have time for that?
Oh, that's a dagger. That's a dagger after... I feel like a lot of these losses from him have been preventable. That one is, I mean, yeah, it's a sticky trap, so it's preventable, but shared responsibility there. That one's hard to do too much about. But Chlor and Scouty going to be dead already.
They get the
That's
Uber
going to get
force.
the Uber out. Foxy's staying alive under bats. Less than 10 seconds, but Kaorn posting up on vents here is exactly where you want your sniper. Paul's trying to
Jerry
put
and
some
Poseidon have good timing, and Poseidon gets Ray.
Yeah.
Free walk
Yates
coming
behind
in.
though, gonna have to watch out. Nope, Jerry gonna jump away.
Watch
Yates
for
looks
Willie,
like he's
Willie.
zoned off.
Willie's killing everybody with the
What a
help of
distraction.
Kira. What a good collapse from the remaining players of Hornets, actually. They just do so much work, and they shut that down without a medic. That's going to be 3-1 in favor of the hardworking Hornets, and they're on match point.
I mean, more rounds of bad medic deaths, really, is all I can
I wonder
say
where
right
that
now.
sticky trap was. I saw it on the Dolphin cam and a bit delayed, but it looked like he just had the cam on Kira spamming over watching his trap. I didn't quite see what the stickies were, but that just put, yeah, like you said, it was the dagger in that round, and now Rib backs against the wall, need to win one here, or they're just going to get one forward. Early bomb, Ray just explodes. Jerry finds the man, but there's Foxy dead. Doesn't matter if you left the, that's the one medic for everyone else mid-fight coming through.
Yeah, really, I mean,
Jerry's getting hunted. Hunt Jerry, full ace.
did the ace get the ace?
Oh no.
Nope, Jerry gonna find Yates instead. Like, that's the high ground in this fight with Panther. Nope, gonna get splashed off the ceiling. So, really, like 2 for 8 or something right there.
Something like that.
You got the med, so it's not the worst, but not really. You'd rather not. Europe is really, their backs are against the wall. They're Kaorn they're finding the answer. Last time Chlor, yeah, just gonna take out Ether. But Kira Chlor now in the middle of the team, gonna not find any picks right there. But Jerry in on Ray.
Wow! Caught that rocket from the soldier across the roof and put it right into Ray on the shutter. That was amazing.
Wow, that
Jerry launched that one from the blue
Divine
hut
intervention.
roof. Paul reflects it to the enemy's shutter, and he just gets the medic. That was insane. And now Rib have full Uber out and the point. That was actually a turning point play.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it with Kira's nuke there. Sometimes just acts of higher powers just turn one things one way or another. It's how Highlander works. You get enough people in a server. And I mean, look, Chalk playing up in secret. You need to leverage your sniper a little better here. Panther's gonna get launched back, and Kira just finds Foxy. Another drop.
Yeah, spamming out of main, and yeah, that's another drop. It's like the 3rd drop for Foxy of the round. Like, they know, they're sacking. They're full Uber dispatch. Chalk is forward. I'm sure he's saying something. You cannot be out there in the middle of yard. You have to play safe. Like, I get it if it's complicated.
You can. You just have to use after you take the first 100 damage.
Yeah, either pop or do something, right? That was a point where Kira was blocking point as other people were bombing over. So it was a well-coordinated sack, right? Don't get me wrong. Hardworking Hornets did really good there to walk everyone out. But that's standard, right? You know they're going to walk everyone out your medic. You're full advantage. You have to be ready for that.
I mean, I don't want to trash on one player too much, but you said in, I think it was the Leaf versus Rib match, that you were looking at like Sakura and Foxy as like the 2 people who may be gatekeepers of higher invite medic. And I'm not seeing it from Foxy right now. I'm going to be honest. This is not a good performance. Just many mistakes. I think died again in that. I mean, there was an Uber popped out from Red right there. Didn't see what killed Foxy, but it feels like it was Chlor we're getting from Dolphin. But it feels like there's been so many things to leverage to put wind in the sails of Rib right now. Even now, they're coming back with a cap. Willie on the box, still gonna get a lot of damage out before going down. But every single time, them losing their med is just, a hole in that sail.
Yeah, good reflects coming out of, it's gonna be Champ here to keep the combo safe. Jerry gets reflected again, denies all that rocket damage, and 60% Uber, 70 for both sides now coming up. It is about a 50-second deficit before run it back. They're not out of the round yet, but they need to stop having these bleed plays. They need to have consistently solid defense here. They can do it. We've seen them do it before. We now see Chalk backing up onto those crates. He's the first man of defense. Going to be spamming onto Kira. Forces the Uber immediately. Gets the flash as well. And beats
Chalk.
He's solo. Chalk is soloing them.
Yeah, no 3 kills over on the side of Rib, none on the side of Hornets. They are about to come into the time lead right now for this round. Ether and Berto both playing up as well. Chalk was sitting secret, going to back up for some heals. And I mean, again, it's the same thing we've seen for the past 5 rounds. The Hornets do not have an answer for Chalk on the box playing up in secret. All of their openings come from kills onto Foxy, regardless of that. But Poseidon finding Kira there, and Kaor now finding Ray. Puts them in a great spot, but Chalk loses the 1v1 to Pickles.
Yeah, at that point your forward man is down, but you're happy about that Ray kill, especially Yates in behind, looking for the sniper, but just going to get shut down by Blankets, so not going to be able to find that one. And now 80% Uber for Foxy. They're in time lead. They have overwhelming Uber ad. This is their chance to tie the half up, at least get back in the saddle. 90%. Fox going to have that Uber. Rib have time for a sack, I believe. 35 seconds left before they have to sack for overtime. Jerry, unable to find that sniper kill, will get out to safety. That's crucial.
If I'm Foxy, my something bad is about to happen to me senses are tingling, and my finger's a little bit closer to that M2 button right now. But Kaorn going to open up onto Hornet. Ether playing aggressively, gets the kill onto Kira. Spy coming in, not going to find anyone, and Kaorn another frag. So Foxy staying alive as this Uber round. Got to imagine is wrapped up here.
Yeah, they're going to pop out that Uber defend. Ether getting some cleanup frags, and Ether had played a phenomenal half, to be really honest. Poseidon as well, topping the scoreboard for his team. Really big part of that comeback. Even though things looked so dire at some point after that third Foxy drop of the match, they managed to bring it back, and now 2-3, run it back, clawing it back, but they still need 2 more rounds to get that win on the board.
Yeah, and their backs are against the wall. I mean, 3-1 to 3-2. Much better position, but still not out of the woods yet. Ether taking a ton of damage. Straight arrow just in time. Really going to get sniped out, but Ether, Jerry, Chalk, Berto, that's 3 from Chlor with the revolver. Deciding to get revenge on the Chlor, but the mid already lost. Foxy is staying alive. A noted disad right here from not being able to spread out heals. So really almost a 30% ad for Ray right now, but not the worst case scenario. They will lose the mid, but they will have an Uber to exchange with in quite short order.
I really like that mid play out of Chlor, the spy play where you just go across and start revolving people. No one can really afford to look at the spy there, right? Especially if the spy's the dead ringer. You have to just let him shoot his shots, because if you sack any players onto him, enemy team's gonna walk at you. And with that Uber up for the side of Hardworking Hornets, they're gonna be able to hold this one, run it back, trying to walk out. Kaorn, I hear a headshot ringing out for him, takes Panther down to 1 HP, so we'll be free walk up here for Rib. Ether trying to make some space onto the demo. They're just going to pop Uber exchange on the point. Better flashes for Hornets. They're going to get some kills. A couple traded back though. Yate and Chlor are going to go down, so it is 7v7 in this post.
Yeah, and I was looking to see if any developments happen. Good repush Ether walking in, but that wrangled mini on fans doing so much damage. Scouty going to find Berto and
Mini
shot.
out again.
Yeah, that mini just putting on so much pressure. It means that they got to look at that instead of Scouty in Shutter. A minute off the clock already. Not too many mid fights we've seen from Hornets so far, but when they get them, they are happy to milk them.
Yep, minute off the clock for them, 2 minutes from the match victory. Meantime, Uber is going to be even once again. Foxy is not combusted this round, so that's good for run it back, but they need to get some time on that clock with a capture. They're going to go for the bats drop once again. Berto's scouting things out, but the mini is really doing so much work. Not anymore, though, as Pickles will be sniped down by Kaorn. Poseidon traded, though, so it's still 88, but Kira's dead. Ether finding another Demo Man win with those pipes, and now Rib flood the point.
If the two heavy's going to trade out, but really that's about the only kill they'll find. Blanket and Jerry as well. Going to go down a little bit after. As Uber now comes back in from Shutter. Foxy uses, though, better Uber on the side of Blue. Let's flashes as well.
This guy!
He's forced back.
Ray's 1 HP. Panther going to die in the meantime, but Ray gets out just barely as
on Bats, though, is taking shots.
Yeah, they will get that cap, though.
Down burst, but yeah, not going to find anything else. Foxy staying alive, not risking that sightline this time. And that will be the cap coming in, but 2 minutes off the clock. And I mean, we've seen Rib's defenses be really strong here. If they can keep their players alive, mitigate the pick classes right now, I don't think this 2-minute deficit is too much for them to overcome.
Yeah, I was just about to say, based on how the match has gone so far, I'd honestly say this is an even game state, right? You have Rib on defense with uber advantage. They have Chalk forward. I really feel like they're... Yeah, like I said, I think their chances are about the same as Hornets in this round so far. And it looks like aggression into
They're just gonna find Ray!
Chalk just runs in and
Chalk and Heather just ganked Ray in lobby, just the perfect speed. Cham's gonna try to sack in, not gonna find anything. Here is up next. No, a little bit of damage onto Foxy, but that's gonna be it. Gonna be a little bit of a pogo there. Chlor just spawning up as well, so great denial from that. I don't know if they knew that Ray was coming in there, or they said, all right, let's just peek and maybe they get a good gotcha pull on whatever class walks past them. But, that kind of aggression will reward you more often than not.
Yeah, it's either the timing being insane or Poseidon is calling for that, right? Which, if he is, shoutouts to him. In the meantime, Cham's just gonna explode, so will Panther. They're trying to get some forward sacking down, trying to get this Uber out of Foxy, but no one even breaks through the front lines. Karon gonna shut down Willie over on barrels, and that's just a 5-man for nothing there coming through on the sack. So now Hornets... Only 20 seconds, like I said, at the point we were at a minute ago, I thought things were pretty even, but now Rib very much on the track to tying things up.
I think it was the second time that Panther and Jerry have kissed in midair, as I think Panther was going for a sack and just ran into Jerry and fell to the ground in the middle of Chalk's minigun. So, a bit of a rough situation there. But Uber's up now. They are going to use on Kira out of Shadow. Chalk ready forward. The Pyro's near it, but it's not going to be enough. Yank gets dropped in the Uber. A little bit too far forward, and Chalk will end in secret. Scouty's going to find Paul in that, but that's the only kill. The Uber Panther is, though. One rocket makes that a second. Takes Kaorn and Fox out. That's the opening that Hornets have been looking for. Chalk and Blanket going to be the next dominoes to fall. This cap is going over to them. And the answer is if Rib is going to have enough in the tank to find another cap in this last minute.
Shutting down Jerry on his sack onto the medic, and now Ray gonna be 50% Uber ad. They have the cap back, Uber ad in their favor. Still slight time deficit, but Hornets finally have a play. They finally get their opening, and now they'll be defending to win it right here. Only 25% for Foxy, so Rib, I don't think they're gonna go for a sack. They just like the dry pressure. They are buffing Ether though. They will find Chlor at the start, so no spy to worry about. Looks like they just want to walk out normally.
Yep, and now Jerry going to get some pressure up on roof. Scouty, though, finds Blanket, so already an opening frag. Nothing needs to worry about. Yeah, make that an 8 onto Paul. The Uber's going to get popped out right here. It was actually exactly what Rib wants, really. Foxy's on 80, safely out behind Bats. And Kaorn, fighting Scouty's going to be the perfect opener here. It's going to be a long
almost lived from that. That was really good by Panther to find that last rocket on the surfing sniper. So sniper disside equalized here. It will be Hornets able to stand on the point because of it. So they will stall for a bit longer, but now 100% Uber for Foxy. They need to get here, get on the point, and hopefully kill Ray. That'd be their end goal. They're going to lose Poseidon immediately, so that's not the best start. Good reflects from Cham, going to shut down the spam. They're getting stuffed here, and Paul and Ether are dead. They're forced to Uber after they've lost 4. It's not good at all for Rib. Wait, what? They didn't run flash! They didn't run flash!
Foxy didn't know. Foxy was flashing people, and they don't. Foxy was playing towards Shutter, milked that Uber really long. I think they wanted to try to bully them off of it, but in that time, too much damage on Paul, too much damage on Ether. Both of them go down, then panic pop, and no cap time. So that will be 4-2 in favor of Hardworking Hornets in...
Yeah, I mean,
a mess of a match, honestly. Not some of the cleanest gameplay we've seen from either side.
It was chaotic. I very much enjoyed a lot of what we saw here tonight. I wanted to talk about that last second play for a second. If you are the side of Rib there, and you need to take point, you either need to do it without popping Uber or while killing the medic, right? You need one of those for your win condition. They tried the former. They tried doing it without popping their Uber, right? As they walked on a point, they just got mulched. Shout out to Cham there with the reflect rockets, just reflect stickies as well, denied all the spam and shutter, put it back the other way. Mini sentry was coming down, sniper shots were coming down. Before Rib knew it, they dropped 4. They were forced to pop. They didn't want to. They were forced to because they're like, oh shit, we're losing numbers. And in the end, even if they unflash someone and start capping there, I think they lose from that position. They just were not expecting They were not expecting the level of resistance that they got out of Hornets there. So shout out to Hornets there, making a really good call to make it as hard as possible for Rib. They know if Rib pops the Uber, it's favorable anyway. And what happened is just like the best case scenario.
at the same time, though, like, why did Rib think they were just going to be able to walk in an 8v9 and not have to use? Like,
They know they have to try something, right? They need to kill the medic or not use Uber, because if they get put on Uber Dissad, then it's probably lost.
I mean, you said there was more deep, like, resistance than they were expecting, though, which I agree with, but they should have been expecting that much, because if you're Hornets, you have a minute up, right? Or 40 seconds. You are saying it doesn't matter if all of us but our med die, force that goddamn Uber, and that's what they did. But they just happened to get 4 kills beforehand. I mean, Scouty killing an engineer, you know, obviously the combo can't do anything about, but losing your Pyro, Scout, and Demo, you very much can.
Yeah, I feel like if you run it back though, you have to get deeper on your initial push. You need to bomb classes over onto the roofs so that the shutter players and the ramp players aren't all like staring at your like group of 6 people on the point, right? You need to take space, you need to spread out, you need to make sure that you deny the spam coming in from Hornets, and they just didn't. They stood their 6 men on point and they were punished. So that's how the match ends. 4-2 in favor of Hardworking Hornets, and with that brings them what, 6 to what's the match points for 4-2?
7-2.
7-2 overall. That brings them up to 20 or 34. That's very, very close to playoffs guaranteed.
Yeah, and I
Because
mean,
if we're saying that Run It Back have a chance with 40, then they only need 7 more to get 41.
no, I agree. I think Hornets have pretty much locked themselves in as playoff teams now, but I still have questions because the inability over 6 rounds to find a single answer to Chalk playing forward is not a good sign.
Either Scouty killing
I
them,
want
Champ
to be
killing
clear.
them,
This is a
or killing
match.
them.
This is a match that Rib lost. This is not a match that Hornets won. And not that I'm ever going to knock a sniper for taking the med shot that runs into his scope, but like, on the whole, I thought Rib was playing better on average. They just had far more chokes that Hornets took advantage of. But those to me were not forced errors. Those were unforced errors on the side of Rib. Hornets taking advantage of them perfectly fine. You would expect a good team to do that. But the rounds where Rib weren't tripping over their own feet, Hornets really did not have a whole lot to show, I don't think, there. So I enjoyed the match in the sense that it was close, but I think both of these teams have a lot of improvements to make going forward. Because if Foxy doesn't get all those med kills, if Foxy or Scouty doesn't get all those med kills, it's already 2-1 Rib. I don't want to place the match solely at the feet of Foxy, at the foot of Foxy, but if there's I'm not going to make the baseball stat reference I was going to, but probably had the most negative impact this game, I would say. Hard to say otherwise.
Yeah, okay. Let's like rewind the clock a bit before that final round. It's 3-2 for Hornets. Imagine if the round before first half ends where Scouty doesn't kill Foxy. Imagine if Scouty doesn't kill Foxy 4 times with a drop to seal the round. That's 2-1 for Rib. Rib lead 3-2. They can make the mistakes in round 6, and all of a sudden we're playing round 7, golden round, right? So match could have gone very different from that round.
I think they could have won round. Yeah, if Foxy doesn't die to get sniped all those times, that's a 2-1 in favor of Rib. But even that first round after the half, where Rib ended up winning, bad drop by Scouty, or good drop by Scouty, bad drop by Foxy, and then more really avoidable deaths from Foxy. So the round didn't end up being that close, but I really think that they were playing better in that round by far. And they just happened to basically take every single time they were about to win a fight, manage to find a way to lose it. So I think you easily could have been 3-1 Rib after 4 rounds, and instead they were down 1-3.
Yeah, I mean, what that tells me really is that even if Rib have like a really good Rib have experienced players on their team, they know how they can play. We saw it every time they had the ball in their court, able to play forward on defense, stuff all of Hornets' Ubers. The only time Hornets actually got ground was when either Panther killed everyone, Chlor got med picks, Scouty started killing everyone. That was pretty much it. If one of those 3 things didn't happen, they were just stuffed by Chalk and Shutter nonstop, right? So Rib, it feels like baseline, they have a really good game plan on Asheville, but something is just happening in their team where they're not like filling all the holes in their ship. You know, it feels like they're leaking nonstop, and it feels like a hole will sprout a leak, and they will. Every match we've seen them play, it feels like they've had rounds that they should not be losing that they're losing. So, at the end of the day, you can say they have a high baseline. You can say that they are playing like decent strategic Highlander, and they're just executing poorly. But at the end of the day, you're not making playoffs if you can't bring together rounds, right? So now they are 1-3. Total of they got 2 match points for this. They had 8 match points. It's so far away.
They basically need to win out and hope.
And then
well, I guess when you said they need help, the help is in the teams that they lost to need to not lose to worse teams. So, in the sense that if they win out and everyone else, all the other matches go according to script, they should make it in. But if you see a help or a Froggy start to get upsets against either Hornets or Leaf or even Duddy Dudes, then things start looking
even
good
if
for them.
rounds just get exchanged where they shouldn't be, right? Things look really bad for Rib at this point. Like their chances tonight were predicated on
if Rib already beat Froggy, so that gives them a good leg up. If they can beat Help, then I think they're in the driver's seat, is what I would say. Still, even with everything that's... Because, say they have to win out, but it's not that big of an ask, really. Because they're playing...
Okay, but win out without dropping around?
Imposters, MST, Worst Comp Format, Dream Evil's Kitchen, all of that should be doable, I think.
Okay, but remember
not
when
easy.
Team King Chungus got denied a playoff spot because we dropped around to 7th place invite team on Vigil?
That's not entirely why. That was why we were in bad straits, but it's possible. But if they beat Help, they give themselves a lot of leeway.
It's not the end reason why, but if we didn't do that, we would have made playoffs. If they got more rounds against Hornets or don't drop or they end up dropping a round to MST, that'll be one of the reasons why they don't make it. So
potentially, yeah.
Either way,
I'm just
run it back, have their work cut out for them.
When I look at that match, if Hornets were playing against Ohio Leaf Village, I question if they get more than one round there.
Potentially, yeah, I'd agree.
Because Leaf Village, to me, is a team that does not make nearly as many mistakes as Rib does. And without those mistakes giving them openings, I did not see a whole lot of, proactive play from Hornets. So I'm still concerned about that. That said, I would lean towards them as probably the 3rd seed right now. But with a decent gap before Ohio Leaf in 2nd.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the Hornets season comes along. I'm not sure if we'll have a chance to get them on cast again. Maybe the Help match if it matters. Who knows? This was a big match though to end up casting because these teams are looking to be somewhere in the 3rd through 5th seeds, right? Which that's where the playoffs cut off. So we did see the 4-2 out of Hornets today, and them being up on 34 match points is amazing for them. Run it back down on 8 doesn't feel the same. So see how the rest of the season plays out. In the meantime, I want to plug the RGL merch, Phillyland merch, available at merch.rgl.gg. You can check out all the designs we got. We got t-shirts, bags, really nice desk mat, pins, a bunch of stuff you can check out. All of the proceeds go towards helping fund RGL and events like the Phillyland, as well as pay our hardworking staff and creators. So thank you all. Check it out and buy some if you like it. And another plug from Dolphin, quick play from Master Config. I've not heard of this before, but I saw the image. I'm guessing it's Master Config putting on a quick play division league. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. Master Config quick play.
Do we have
it's basically old,
exclamation point quick play.
Yeah, Dolphin says it's basically like old TF2 quick play. So I'm guessing you'll be able to load in and play some fun games with decent players as well, because the demographic we're apparently advertising this too.
Presumably no bots, I would presume.
Presumably no bots,
so,
yeah, hopefully. Otherwise it would be the point.
Yeah, all community servers often saying. So the resiliency of the TF2 community shines through yet again as we're forced to take things into our own hands since Valve won't. So definitely check that out. The more traffic they get, the better things are, the more likely it is to stay up, and these types of services are really what's keeping the game alive. So check that out. Otherwise, really, I think that's going to do it from us, Zach. Any final remarks?
No, all I can do is say good luck, run it back. You'll need it.
All right, then I think that'll do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching as always, and we'll see you next week with I think we've got Froggy versus Help next week. So we're breaking the chain of casting one team 2 weeks in a row. But that I think Froggy versus Help should be a good one. I think should help shed some light on, I think the loser of that likely has their road to playoffs probably cut off. So whereas I think right now you've got pretty much Dudes and Ohio Leaf locked, Hornets looking likely, and then Rib, Froggy, Help all fighting for that last spot. Loser of next week's match should find their road significantly harder. So should be a good one. Lots at stake, and we are on match where we run upwards. So classic map for a very meaningful match. So won't want to miss it. Tune in next week. But other than that, I think we're done for the night. So for me, Zag, Dolphin, everyone at RGL, thanks for watching. See you next week.